flour tortillas. In my mixer I have all-purpose flour, salt, a little bit of baking powder, and here's shortening. You could also use lard, but I'm using shortening. So we're going to put it on the mixer with the paddle. And then just put it on slow. We just want to break it up so it's kind of sandy with no big chunks of shortening. Okay, you can see there may be some not really big pieces, but it's pretty broken up. You know, it's kind of more sandy. It has a different texture that it started at, and that's what we want. So now we're going to add the water. I'm just going to put all the water in. I mean, you can put it slowly if you want, but I'm just going to add all the water. And then put it on slow at first. Okay, as you can see at the bottom of the bowl there's still a little bit. Once there's no more dry at the bottom, then we can stop it. Okay, so that's enough in the mixer. You know, this is not a bread. It's not like a bread, like a normal bread dough or anything like that. You know, so we're not trying to get a bunch of gluten or anything like that. We want it to be a smooth dough, but you know, we don't need a lot of kneading or anything like that. I just want it kneaded until it's smooth, and right now it's still kind of not completely together. So I'm gonna take it out, put it on the table, and just knead it a little bit so that, you know, there's probably some areas that are dry, some areas that are kind of wet. So I just want to get it all together. And if you really don't want to knead it at all by hand, you could of course switch to the hook and use the hook to knead your dough, but like I said, it's not a normal bread dough, so you don't need to knead it too much, just enough to get it nice and smooth. Okay, so that's basically the dough, and then we will portion and roll them out, and then I'll show you how to cook them. Okay, so I just portioned and rolled them into balls. These are about 50 grams. So I just put it in flour. You want a lot of flour. And then push it so it's a flat round, and then just start rolling it. In general, you would like to have it round, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it could be rectangle, oval. It doesn't, I mean, if you are, you know, you want them perfectly round, it's fine, but you're going to have to practice because it's not easy keeping them perfectly round. It takes a lot of practice, but luckily it's a cheap thing to make. You can make as much as you want, and you roll it as thin as you want. If you want thicker ones, you can do it, you know, much thicker. The way I do it is pretty thin when I'm done rolling it, because it will puff up when it's baked. So I go very, very thin. I mean, you can almost see through it. And then I cook it on a cast iron griddle. You want to flip it several times when you're cooking it. You don't want to like cook it all the way through one side, flip it over. It's not a hamburger, it's a tortilla. So once you start seeing bubbles a little bit, you can flip it over. You know, I don't want it to puff up. It's, again, it's a tortilla, not a pita, so you don't want it to bubble up too much. When it starts bubbling up, you just try to pop out the bubble, but be careful, there's steam. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It cooks really quick. If you want it really crispy, you can go further, but you're going to turn it into a cracker. So I just put it over here. You just wrap it in a towel is enough, or you could buy a tortilla holder, but a towel's enough. It'll keep it good, and it'll keep it warm, and even if it's a little crisp now, after a couple of minutes, the steam inside will make them soft. So, enjoy!